Welcome to another episode of Beyond Organised. I have a lovely guest here, and I apologize if I don't say very well, but I'll give you a bit of a background. So I have Liva Vitola. She is a business operations and systems strategist who helps women simplify the chaos of everyday life with digital tools like ClickUp. She believes overwhelm isn't always about having too much to do, but more about forgetting what needs to be done. Oh, so true. And she shows others how digital planning can bring clarity and peace of mind from business projects to family routines. So all the way from Latvia, welcome, Liv. Nice to have you.
Hi, Mel. Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, you're so welcome. I loved connecting with you before the show and seeing how we're on a very similar path when it comes from the chaos to the clarity, and we want to simplify things and have systems in place that makes our work and our lives and everything easier. I love what you're doing, and I'm really excited for everyone to hear what it is you do. So if you wouldn't mind, you could share a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. So, I've been a project manager for over 7 years now. I started working at a translation agency after finishing my bachelor studies in translations. And that's where I really found my love of just running, planning, executing projects. But at the same time, I've always been super forgetful. I've always said that my memory is that of a goldfish. It's like 3 seconds and I forget. I forget whatever I was doing, what I was saying. That might happen here in this
Mm-hmm.
recording as well.
That's
It's just the
okay.
way that is the way that my mind works, and I'm sure that that's the way for a lot of women that are listening to
Yeah.
this episode that just can't function without reminders, without to-do
Mm-hmm.
lists, and actually sticking with them, that you just get distracted or you get passionate about another new project in your life or a new
Yeah.
hobby and you forget about the things that you were actually supposed to be doing because you just got too excited about something new. So
Yeah.
so this has been a very big issue for me, especially as the roles started, accumulating in my life. So from being, just a girl to becoming a
Yeah.
wife, a mom, a
Mhm.
dog mom, and
Yeah.
also having my own business. So all of these roles, they carry a lot with them, right?
Yeah,
Even
definitely.
when we become a mom, all of a sudden we don't have to just worry about our own doctor appointments and our
Oh my
own
gosh. Yeah.
schedules. We are also suddenly responsible for the schedule and
Yeah.
the appointments for our kids too. So in
Yeah.
my case, that is my kids' speech therapy and all the other things like vaccinations and
Uh,
training and workouts and you name it, really.
all of it. Yeah. All
And
of it.
and yeah, and that's been my biggest root cause of my overwhelm really is
Mm.
not that I have too much to do in a single day, but that I have no idea what I am forgetting to do. And
Yeah.
then I feel that guilt and just that
Mhm.
shame and anxiety of not knowing what needs to be done and what hasn't been done. And am I on
And then you
track?
forget something, and then you get called out for it, and you're like, "Oh, no, I forgot that. I'm sorry." And yeah, all of that.
Yeah, and it's just the worst feeling that you are trying so hard
Mhm.
to be good at all of these roles that you are juggling, but
Mm.
you can't. You can't do
Yeah.
it when it all only lives in your head, right?
Yeah.
So at one point I just started breaking down because I wasn't using any planning for my own business. Although
Mhm.
I did use a really great project management tool in my office job because that's what they supplied me with, right? And it
Yeah.
was just their standard operating procedure to use the platform for running all of
Yeah.
these small projects and communicating with each other. But I wasn't using it for myself.
Yeah. You're not alone
as an
there.
OBM,
So
which is
common, so common.
it's so weird because you know the best practices, but you don't use them for yourself
Yeah. Yes, yes.
because it feels overwhelming to even build out. Like, where do I get started with planning
Yeah.
these
Getting
things?
started is so hard.
Is the hardest thing. But once I really committed to it and I started using a digital tool like ClickUp, which was my tool of choice, but I'm sure that you've probably heard of a lot of other ones. Like you can use
Yeah.
Notion for this, you can use Asana, Monday,
Yeah.
really whatever. You can even use Google Calendar as your main
Yeah.
project management tool when using it correctly. Really,
Yeah.
the key to whatever tool you're using is actually using it. It can even be a paper planner, sure, if that's what you love doing. But it didn't work for me because I always forgot them in all of
Yeah.
these random places. And
Yeah.
even like forgetting it in another room or in my car, and then I don't have it on me when I need it. But tools like ClickUp is that you can use it on your computer, but you can also have it on the go as an app on your phone. So you
Okay.
can
Cool.
share it with anybody who's either on your team or in your family.
Ah,
You can use it for, just running through things. So that's what I'm committed to at the moment. And
yeah.
that's what I also use in my business and my clients' businesses as well.
Yeah. That's really good because I was always that paper planner person. But when I started my business and I realized I've got so many ideas, but also the plan keeps changing. And so when I had it on paper, always having to cross things out, write things in again, or things, it was just too messy. So having it on the computer just made my life easier when it came to my business. So I totally hear what you're saying, but I haven't heard of ClickUp before. So I am curious to hear more about it. But in regards to what you do and in your business and with your organizing and things like that, how do you help people? And do you have a process or a method or something in what you do?
Yes. So the main thing to tackle first is getting that information out of a person's head. It's the hardest thing for them at first because that's the biggest point of threshold that they have to tackle is that getting it all outside of their head, all of the tasks, all the components of doing and getting a project completed. How often do you need to do this? What are the deadlines for these things to
Mm,
happen? Who are the people involved in this?
mm,
So that takes an interview. And I also send out documents with just a lot of questions for them to just go through and really just write it all out. And I also always encourage them to just send me all your screenshots, send me all your notes, whatever you have, just
yeah.
send it all to me and I will
Put it all
I
together.
will
Yeah.
chew it out. I will chew it up
Yeah.
and I will put this into a system for you. Because
Oh,
sometimes
I love it.
the hardest thing for them is first of all getting it all out of their head,
Yes.
up that sense of control
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
letting somebody handle that for them.
Yeah.
But as
That's
soon
true.
as soon as they do, they just feel an instant sense of relief because once they see that all on the paper, they really see how capable they are, how much they are handling every single
Yeah.
day, and how much of these things can either be delegated,
Yes.
how many of these things are unnecessary,
Yeah.
and how many of these things can be improved,
Yeah.
automated, and
Yes.
most importantly, how many of these things are can be deleted.
Yeah. I love that. That actually lines up with one of my methods. And in that method, I have a filter and I call it the 4D filter. So
Yes,
unoriginal. But
I love it.
in that, you've got the delete, delegate, delay, and do differently. So you're pretty much saying the same thing. That's what you're doing to help your clients. And it's one of the things that I talk about a lot is getting it all out of your head.
Mhm.
And especially when I speak to women, when they're really hard on themselves because they're like, oh, I can't seem to function. I just can't move forward. I can't do this, can't do that. But then when they realize all the stuff that's going on up here and they get it out, it's like, no wonder you couldn't think properly. Your brain was so blocked up with all the stuff that was in it. And so just getting it out, yeah, half the stuff, it's a waste of memory space. They can just get rid of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and going, actually, I don't need to take this on. Someone else can do this. It's the same kind of thing like what you're saying. And honestly, getting it out is a really good way to start when you don't know where to start. Just getting it out of your head. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's number one for any feelings of overwhelm, really. Even if it's just emotions, write it out.
Yeah.
Don't look at what you're writing. Don't think about
Yeah.
how pretty you're making it. Don't think about any of that. Just write it out completely. And
Yeah.
then once you feel like you can't write anymore, that's when that overwhelm has also stepped away. It's just
Yeah.
vanished because you wrote all your emotions, whatever you wanted to say, but you were just keeping in yourself. That's
Yeah.
when you reach that point zero where you can
Yeah.
just look at all of that and ask yourself, okay, so how much of these emotions, how many of these are actually true? And how much did I
Yes.
just work myself up
Make up.
into?
Yes. That is so true. And I find that when you bring things out into the light, like you bring it out, then it kind of loses its power. The things that really made you anxious and stressed and you're worried about, a lot of the time when you actually just get it out, you don't even have to tell anyone, but just get it out on paper or however you do it. All of a sudden, when you sort of see it right in front of you, it kind of just loses that power. And you go, wow, I was getting so caught up in this. And when I actually look at it kind of like a fact or something in front of you, you're just like, oh, like, yeah, it's a big deal, but I can deal with this. It
Yeah,
it just changes the perspective.
yeah, exactly. And this also relates to a lot of just our everyday tasks. Sometimes we are just, plowing through our week thinking, oh, I have so many things to do. I have no idea. And when was even the last time that my dogs got vaccinated? I'm the worst dog mom in the world. I have no idea when my dogs are due for their shots. Like, I'm the worst.
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah.
like this happened to me a couple of weeks back. I was stressed out, so I just rushed my dogs to the vet. I'm thinking, and I even said this out loud, I'm the worst dog mom in the world. And then she looks at that, at the little like vaccination book that she has, and she says, oh no, you're perfectly on track. We don't need you in for a couple more months. So I just made this up in my head with just always being in a rush myself. I thought that I'm
Yeah.
behind on everything. But
Yeah. Yeah.
then there is the other side of that stick, is where you think you're doing fine, but actually you are already overdue on payments.
Yeah.
You haven't done your taxes, you haven't
Mm.
issued your bills, or you haven't even maybe sent invoices to your clients. And then you feel
Yeah.
like something's off, but I'm not sure what. And then you get a late notice on your utilities bill.
Bill. Yeah.
And it's not that you didn't have the money. It's just that you
Yeah.
didn't set a reminder for
Disorganized.
yourself. Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
disorganized. Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
the biggest root cause of anxiety, really, because
Yes.
it can ruin your day, really. You might be having an okay day, but then you get that,
Yeah.
overdue message, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh no, I'm
Bad
not as
mood.
good as I thought. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and you start to spiral because the negative self-talk really kicks in. And what you're saying is really sort of the heart of what I'm trying to achieve in that, well, stop the negative self-talk for starters, and we start being more proactive in the way that we do things instead of reactive,
yeah.
but regaining that sense of control and balance in our lives. Organizing is that tool that I use. And by organizing the different parts of our life, our finances, our time, our homes, all that kind of stuff, when you can start getting things in order a little bit with that, then you do just feel less stressed. And
Mhm.
the anxieties in a lot of things, obviously depending on the situation, but the anxiety starts to come down. Everything starts to come down. You can actually feel yourself breathing a little bit more, and the weight on your shoulders kind of just lifts off a bit more. And I know there's many ways that people can go about it, but for me, I have found that getting on top of things in a more organized fashion help set up the routines and the systems and the ways to go about things, that it's your life, a lot of it becomes sort of automatic. So you don't need to be using so much brain energy on the
Mhm.
everyday tasks, and you can actually really plug in and tune in to the things that you care about, your family, your relationships, going out and, I don't know, going for a walk or whatever it is you want to
Yeah.
do, that you can really be switched on for those things
Mhm.
that actually matter. I mean, we've all got to pay bills. We've all got to go to work. We've all got to do things. But we can do it in a way that it doesn't necessarily drain us. And we can regain some control over that. And then we can be more present for the things that matter most. So I love how what you do helps people in being more organized and in getting that, because you would, maybe unknowingly, you would be doing a lot of things that really helps take stress away for people. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I live for. I love seeing the relief in my clients' faces when they see. So we can just rinse and repeat the same cycle, and it just takes a couple buttons. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. If that's for, let's say, a project launch or
Yeah.
sales or a webinar, whatever, we can just duplicate it in ClickUp,
Yeah.
and we have our tasks, we
Just
have our
automate.
deadlines, and we
Yeah.
just like, okay, we have our everything we need to do right here. No need to have another check-in call, another strategy call,
Yeah.
whatever. We don't
No more
have to
meetings.
think. Yes, isn't that a dream?
Yeah. That's so
Yeah,
good. So what's one thing that you wish everybody knew?
I would say that one of the things is a common misconception, really, is that type B people like me think that if they are gonna utilize systems in their everyday life and also in their business, is that that's going to take away from that
Yes.
creative spark and that
Creativity. Yes.
intuitive and
That
the
freedom.
intuition and
Yeah.
yes and that
Spontaneity.
spiritual
Mm.
downloads that they have while working
Yes.
on their hobbies and on their
Yeah.
business. But in reality, having these systems in place actually opens up the space for this
Yes.
creative freedom, for you to be able to really fly with your ideas and your thoughts because you already
Yes.
have the roots down.
Yes, so good. Oh my gosh. Like, I just had a group coaching call earlier today as of recording this. And I was saying, because I love it when I coach people that are a bit like me and they're quite happy to do the same thing every day and have their set routine, and that's fine. But most people are not like me. They want to have their freedom. They want to be flexible, have the spontaneity. I get it. I do get it. And they feel like having systems and routines stifles that. It stops that from
Mhm.
happening. But really, I see it like music with a rhythm, right? There's all different kinds of music. There's all different kinds of rhythms. You find the thing that works for you. You find that song, that music, that
Mm,
beat that works for you. There is a rhythm for everyone. So systems and rhythms don't have to be stifling. They don't have to suffocate you.
mhm.
They can actually add to your dance of life. They can add to the way
I
that you
love this.
do
Yes.
things. So I love what you're saying, because it really lines up with the discussion I had with my group coaching call today. And yeah, you're so spot on. And I think that's something that's coming up more and more, is that a lot of people are like, oh, I know I need to have a system around how I manage things around the home, or a system around my finances and the budget and all that kind of stuff. But they feel like they're going to lose control in some ways, or it's going to be too controlling. It could go both ways, and it's going to suck the life out of them. But really, from what you're saying, what I'm saying, it is possible to have a flexible system and routine that works for you. And that's where having a coach does come in handy if you're stuck in how to manage
Yes.
that. But and someone like yourself in your project management and all of that, that's where you pay for a professional to really help you if you're stuck in this situation, and to help get their business ideas out and whatever else. That's what you're there for. And it's worth every cent. It's worth the money, because then you go from being stuck in this place and having misconceptions, and you start moving forward. You get on with life, you get on with things, and potentially make more money, have more time, have better relationships, all of it.
Absolutely, because that having a system like ClickUp, you can use it for everything. You can have it as your hub for your life, essentially, for all your
Ooh, I
dreams,
like
for
that.
all your quarterly planning, for your finances. You can use it as your link hub, as your logins, passwords. You can
Wow.
use it as your hub for
Like a
really
brain.
anything. Yes, your
It's
second
like
brain.
another
That's what
brain.
it is. Yes, exactly.
Wow.
And returning to those vaccinations again, you can set it up as a recurring task every six
Yeah.
months that you have to just give your doctor a call and
Yeah.
make an appointment.
So easy.
So you
So
never
easy.
think that you're a bad mom
You're not
anymore.
rushing them down to the vet. You're not rushing them down to the vet going, oh my gosh, I forgot. It's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah,
You
instead
forgot
you
that
can
you
just take
actually
them to
did
the
do it.
park.
Yeah, that's it. And you can relax and breathe and enjoy the fresh air.
Yeah, that's
That's so
that's what I
good.
love. That's what I love the most. For me, as a most forgetful, creative type of person, as a type B kind of person, committing to logging into my ClickUp even once one time per day, 5 minutes while I'm having my morning coffee, and just seeing what I have on my agenda for that day and what I maybe forgot to do the day before gives me that sense of kind of control.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
you have these tasks on you, but okay, I have these tasks, but which ones are most important today?
Yeah. What's the
And then
priority?
maybe I
Yeah.
can push some forward to the next day
Yep.
and
Yep. Delay it.
just even things out.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. I feel like we are on the same page. We're saying the same thing. I love
Yes.
connecting with people. I love connecting with people that really utilize organizing. It's funny because I think for a lot of us, we just assume it's a natural thing that we can just get organized if we want to get organized. But really, until you experience things like sitting down with you, with your clients, how they sit down with you and they get everything out and put it down, they probably just didn't realize the impact of even that experience until they did it. So I think everyone sort of feels like they can just get organized off the top of their head, but there's a lot of ways we can go about things that could be more efficient, that could be quicker
Mhm.
and easier to learn when you've got someone else partnering with you to help you with that. So,
Yes, because the other person that you are giving your brain dump out of, they don't have these emotions attached to these
yes,
tasks like you do.
definitely.
They don't have
Yeah.
these relationships with those people. They don't have that anxiety of being afraid to
Yeah.
perform, or they just see
Yeah.
things
Or
as they are.
boundaries or anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you've got all this pressure on you because you're too scared to say no. Whereas the
Hmm.
person you're sharing it with, they can say no for you. They can help
Yeah.
you with it.
Yeah, they will
Oh, there's
see that,
so many things.
girl, this is too much for you in a
Too
single
much.
day. This is not a rush
Yeah.
project. You have
Yeah.
to ask for more time because your agenda
Yeah.
simply does not allow a 24-hour rollover. You need a week.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes you just having someone in your corner to validate maybe even that you know it's too much and it's too
Mhm.
hard, but having someone else confirm that for you and go, yeah, this is too much. Then you can stop feeling like you're failing
Mhm.
and that you aren't on top of things when you really should be. But it's like, hang on a second, that's not realistic. It's just not realistic. So I feel like we could talk for hours on this.
Yes,
Clearly, it's something I love talking about.
me too.
It's so good. We'll take it offline so no one
Yeah.
else has to keep hearing us. But I would love to keep talking, but how can people find you if they want to connect with you and maybe have you help them with their projects or anything like
Mhm.
that? How can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me through the links in the show notes. My business name is willowandco.studio. I also have a website, and if you follow the link in the show notes, you can also
Yeah.
grab your free ClickUp life and business templates that you can simply download and import into your own ClickUp profile and start from there if you want to try things out yourself. And if at some point you also want a professional eye on everything that you're handling and everything that you want to free up in your life and maybe free up some space and see what the bottlenecks really are, you are always welcome to send me an email or inquire about my services. And I'm sure that we can find some way to work together.
Perfect. Yep. So you can just head to the notes and they'll be able to get all the details there. It is so lovely talking to you. And thank you so much for coming on the show today. And I would love to have you back on in the future if that's all right with you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Part two coming up.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you. It was so lovely to chat with you.